Welcome to New Life Live, the premier place to receive free advice from Christian psychologists and counselors for the mental, emotional, relational, and spiritual challenges you face. Since 1988, we've offered compassionate responses that combine God's truth with proven psychological principles to guide you toward healing. Our phone lines are open. Call us now at 1-800-229-3000.
I don't know about you, but I've never met a weekend I didn't like. Welcome to New Life Live. I'm your host, Brian Perez, getting to your questions in just a bit. Johnny, Kay, Lisa, stay right where you are. Let me introduce the panel first. We've got licensed professional clinical counselor Becky Brown here. How are you, Becky?
I'm doing well, and I like the weekend.
Yes, me too.
Yeah.
Joining her are the president of New Life Ministries, Becky Brown. How are you, Becky?
I'm good. You just introduced me.
I know, but I did introduce you with both of your titles. Now I did.
Okay.
Clinical psychologist Dr. Jill Hubbard's here too.
I just have one title.
You just have one title. It's going to be a great show. Hi, Jill.
Hi, guys. How are you?
Doing all right.
Good.
Okay, so I have a few thoughts that I was going to share. We were supposed to, Becky, I'm so glad you're on with us. We were supposed to have Dr. John Townsend, but this week he's not been feeling well. So I thought in lieu of not having him, I would share something from one of his books. So years ago, I had the privilege of being one of the endorsers on Where is God? So it's not a book of his that often gets a lot of press, but it is a good one. And so I wanted to read just a section to you all. And so the idea of where is God? And he says the question that is not a question. Finally, sometimes, where is God is not actually a question. In my work as a psychologist, I have found this to be a significant issue. For many people who struggle, there is no real and true answer to the where is God question that will satisfy them. No explanation from a theological level, a spiritual level, a psychological level, or any level that will make a difference to their current conditions. That is because many times, where is God is not actually a question they're willing to receive an answer to. It is a protest. It is a statement of how badly they hate what is going on. It is a desire, a wish, a cry of pain and anguish. It is an emotional reaction to a great difficulty. The desire simply says, I want things to be better. I want the bad times to go away so I can live my normal life. I want my child to straighten out. I want my husband to love me. I want to feel better, not sicker. I want to find a mate. I want a job so I can take care of my family. I simply hate what is going on, and I want things to be different. These are protests, not questions. The most profound and moving where is God question that has ever been asked in history is that of Jesus in his own agony on the cross. My God, why have you forsaken me? Matthew 27:46. He was not asking for clarification, an answer, or an explanation. He knew what was going on behind his pain. He knew every reason for what he was experiencing, for he had planned and predicted his own suffering. Speaking to his disciples, he said, listen, we're going up to Jerusalem, where the Son of Man will be betrayed to the leading priests and the teachers of religious law. They will sentence him to die. Then they will hand him over to the Romans to be mocked, flogged with a whip, and crucified. But on the third day he will be raised from the dead. In that moment of pain, Jesus was uttering the question that was not a question. And yet at Christmas time, 6 days before Christmas, your pain is still there, but Jesus knew what was to come, and he did it anyway for us. There's something very, very important in all of that.
That was a great reading, Jill. And again, that's from Dr. Townsend's book.
Yes, Where is God?
Where is God? It's
and
available.
So much on our pain and suffering in here.
Yeah, it's available on his website, drtownsend.com. And we sure do hope that we will see him here in a few weeks. He was supposed to be with us this week, but we pray for him and that he'll return shortly and be up and running, and then he'll be in the studio with us here on New Life Live. All right, we've got some phone calls coming up in just a moment. Thank you so much for watching and for listening to New Life Live.
Hello, everybody. It's Becky Brown, and I'm coming to you with an urgent need. If you've heard the callers on the show recently, you've heard the struggles that so many people are experiencing. There are many people that are in difficult relationships, difficult places in their lives. I want you to help New Life continue to offer hope for people's lives. We had some generous friends of New Life that started a matching gift, and every gift will be doubled up to $475,000. But it's urgent. The matching window closes December 31st, so don't wait. Every moment matters in recovery, healing, and restoration. Make your gift today by going to newlife.com, click on Donate, or text the word MATCH to 28950. You can also call us, 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Together, we will bring hope and help to so many more people. And I want to say thank you in advance.
To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
Let's now speak with Johnny in Washington, D.C. He listens to us on WAVA. Welcome to the program, Johnny.
Hello, good afternoon, you guys. Thank you so much for taking my call.
Well, thank you so much for calling in.
Yes, I called one time before with the AA question, and this one is a little different. But so I am in AA, and I've been in a sober living home for 2.5 years now. But how I got the treatment was I attempted suicide, and I took myself to the hospital. I told them they didn't help me, that I was going to, end things. And so that was June 26, 2.5 years ago. So, but that when I decided to do that, my son, I'm divorced, my son was living with me, my youngest son. He was 11 at the time, and he lived with me for 5 years, just me and him. And things were where I'm going to his football games and things like that. But I was in my active addiction. He didn't really know, but he kind of knew. So fast forward, he at 17, his girlfriend had a baby, and they moved in with my ex-wife in the basement. So since that time, I've been going over, bringing stuff for the baby and checking on him and all that stuff. And he never answers my calls. He never responds to my texts or anything like that. And this is like the fourth phone that I done bought him. So yesterday, while at work, I went up there because he didn't answer the phone, and I banged on the door for like 10 minutes, and then he come down, and he was like upset at me. And Dad, what's up? And I was like, I'm just coming to check on you, man, to see if the baby needs anything or anything like that. Well, she's sleeping. He was so like angry at me, and like I couldn't believe it. So I closed the door, and he slammed the door, and I just left because I think for me that probably would have been the best thing to do. He's 18 years old, but I'm 6'4", 260 pounds. So I just left, and that is bothering me. And I know in my addiction, I did this to my dad. Right? I cursed him out. I threatened my dad. But when I came to treatment, I learned in AA about resentments. I went to my dad, and we put that in the past. And so I called my dad and told him what Jordan did to me, and he reminded me of what I did to him. That's not why I called him, but that's what he told me. And his advice to me was, you got to back up off him and let them figure things out and give them tough love like I gave you. But the two father and son dynamics were totally different. I raised this one in church. I put the seed in him. And my dad and I got high together, so there's two different dynamics there. But my heart is heavy, but that my son would act that way towards me.
Right, Johnny. Listen, first of all, I want to say I'm grateful you're here. Okay, I'm glad that you didn't end your life, and I'm glad that you're here. This is very tricky and triggering for you, and I want to know: do you have a sponsor that you connect with, and are you still going to group?
Yes, I have a sponsor, a really good sponsor, and he's a Christian like myself. And, my work schedule changed. So Monday, I have a really good home group up here in Columbia, but I go
Great.
on Saturdays and Sundays, but I keep that support system, and I talk to him throughout the week.
Right. Well, the reason why I'm asking is because I would love for you to connect with either one of them, because I guarantee that they've had that experience. There's a lot of emotional volatility that's happening here, both for your son and for you. And, one of the things that we do a lot of times is your concern gets ramped up. Like you hadn't heard from him. There's also this expectation, I bought you a phone and the least you could do is pick it up.
Yeah.
And, there's all of that
Yes.
kind of stuff. And I know, but here's where you can find the serenity, the peace that that you can have, is recognizing I can only control me. You know this, right, Johnny? Because you've done the 12 steps. You know that this is where you have to work. And so what I want you to do is lean into, what is this about that I'm feeling? I mean, there's every kind of feeling that's going on, but I don't want you to be in a reactive state. That is a dangerous place to be for anybody, whether you're, clean and sober or otherwise, because you're not, you don't show up as your best self. And I love that you had enough restraint to walk away, but now you're feeling sad because you want to connect with your son. You want to have a good relationship. So I want you to lean into, let's have a do-over. And I think it's going to have to be where you have a conversation, not where you just show up on the door and then all of the feelings start to, get to the surface. I also want you to be able to see his version of events, where he is surprised by your arrival. He's not sure what you want. He's threatened by your presence. And those are all things that you don't want to have happen, but that's what has happened. And so I want you to be able to make amends, to recognize, okay, how do I get reconnected? It's not going to be perfect from the start, but you want to stay in relationship with him. And I don't want resentment to be the lead in this process. But man, it's hard, though. It's hard, Johnny. I hear your heart, and I know you want to connect with him.
I've asked him, I said, Jordan, the hardest thing for me to do was to give him back to his mom, and I go check in the treatment because the alcohol and drugs was trying to kill me.
Right.
That was a hard thing for me. And since I've been clean, he's been kind of indifferent towards me. I asked her, I said, how do you feel about this? Are you upset at me? And he was like, no, Dad, no, Dad, no, Dad.
But you know what, Johnny? But Johnny, he hasn't done the work that you have done to recognize how to deal with the feelings. Plus, he's 18 and he's got a new baby and all of the things. But I think there's going to be time for that. Jill?
Yeah. And Johnny, I mean, you have done a wonderful thing getting clean and sober. And you did, even in spite of your addiction, raise your son differently. So I think there's some expectations there that you even mentioned. But here's the thing. It takes those around the addict a lot longer to catch up than actually where the addict is at. So you're doing great and you're doing better. But what about all those years where you weren't? You may have done better than your dad, but your son still lived with an addict. And so it's not uncommon for, in the aftermath of someone getting clean and sober, where the person is actually safer now, then they have feelings or they avoid. So you're experiencing the delayed reaction of some people around you, and you've got to give him time. And Becky's right. He's not done the work. He's in the middle of his own life chaos, right? Where he's done some impulsive things. Now he has a baby. He's not married. He's young, right? And so there's a lot of self-focus. And so though it is really easy for us parents to kind of catastrophize, and it's like we build this whole story, they're lying dead on the side of the highway, or, something's really wrong. And it's just that they don't have the same need to stay connected that we have. And so you also have to recognize that.
And so here's what I want you to do, Johnny. I want you to repair this, okay? And the repair is just like when you make amends, right? You admit what you've done wrong, you apologize, and then invite him into an opportunity to connect, and that you'll, look forward to that. I want him to see this new version of Johnny. I don't want you to go back into the reactive person.
Yeah,
That's
impulsive.
And a lot of times, and we talk about
That's what?
I said, no, that reactive, impulsive, that's definitely me, but I've gotten so much better since I've been in these rooms and the meeting.
Yeah.
I love that. Well, Johnny, I presented on this topic before, where the recovery is great. I believe recovery is for everyone. I don't care if you've never been addicted. The process of the 12 steps can really help each of us get the healing that we need. But there's a part of this where I don't know that a lot of people have thought about, where did it start? Because we know that addiction in all of its forms starts in a wound, and it separates us not only from ourselves but from other people, and so we end up numbing.
Mine was from my dad.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mine was from my dad. It started with my dad. Yeah.
Okay.
And I don't want to repeat it.
I
don't
know,
want you either.
But some of your sons, Jordan's wound is also from his dad.
Yes.
Perhaps, right? And so even though it's not exactly the same as yours, he still, he didn't live your life. So he doesn't know how much worse it could be. Right. All he knows is his experience. And sometimes it's not even about how worse it is, but it's about those misattunements and disconnects that happen when someone is using, even if they're not abusive.
Do you know, Johnny, when you described showing up on the door, what I envision is your insides being dysregulated on, like, steroids. I don't know how, it just kept going. And what we want to do in our recovery is we want to maintain that serenity. We want to maintain that peace. And the way we do that is by connecting with other people, recognizing what feelings are taking the lead. And I think that's why I want you to connect with your sponsor and with your group before you try to fix this with Jordan, because you're trying to make him see, and all he can see is you trying to make him see, and that's a control reaction. And you want to be able to be present so that you can say, "I'm sorry for the way I handled that. I would love to."
That you let your fear kind of run rampant.
And you're teaching him in that moment that there are things that you're still working on. And to your point, Jill, I think it's really profound, Johnny. You have to recognize Jordan has wounds of his own that he doesn't even know yet.
Yep.
And so when you show up on the door like that, that is scary to him. And, now he's a father. And so it's, you have an opportunity to disrupt this cycle right where you can. And so I hope that that's helpful to you.
Johnny, what do you think?
You got so much. It really was helpful.
Good.
And we'll be praying for you, Johnny. We're so grateful that you're here, grateful for your sobriety, and want to continue to encourage you along that way.
For sure. Stay on the line. We want to send you a resource from the newlife.com store. What would you guys suggest?
Life Recovery Devotional is what I would send.
I was thinking something similar.
Okay, very good. Johnny, thanks for calling in today to New Life Live. Now let's talk to Lisa in Dallas, Texas, who listens to us on KWRD. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
How can we help you?
Well, first of all, I'm just very honored to be speaking to you. I listen to you all the time, and I just feel like I'm talking to family. And I value your wisdom and your opinion. That's why I'm calling you. I feel stuck right now in my life, and I would really appreciate some guidance of how to get unstuck.
Okay.
My question is, give you a little background. I was sexually abused by my stepfather. I have sisters from my stepfather, which I adore, and had a relationship with them until my mom passed away a couple years ago. He passed away, then she passed away. Now there's an eruption with our relationship, which is pretty much non-existent.
So, Lisa, we're coming up to our break. What is your main question for us that we can address when we come back? And we'll continue conversating with you as well.
Do I proceed seeking them to restore the relationship, or how do I move on?
Okay.
All right. So stay on the line, Lisa, and we'll continue our conversation with you when we come back here on New Life Live. It's just one of those things that happens. We can't do anything about the clock because we only get so many minutes per hour. And so it is break time right now, but we will come back to you. And Kay, we see you on the phone as well. We're going to talk to you as well. So don't hang up. We will be back. Thank you so much for listening and for watching New Life Live.
My husband addicted to pornography for the majority of our marriage. I was very isolated and didn't really know which way to turn.
If you've been affected by betrayal, an emotional or physical affair, or pornography, the Restore Intensive will equip you with support and tools to help you through.
I went to the Restore conference, which seemed to be the missing puzzle piece where I was able to find my voice.
When two people want to do their part, we can be restored. But if they don't, we are not stuck because someone else made a decision. God lets us weigh in on how we want to walk out our life.
The Restore Intensive is coming to Dallas, Texas, March 6th to the 8th. Register online at newlife.com or call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Enter the code NLL for a discount.
I'm navigating my world now. It feels so wonderful.
I've had a great experience at Restore.
1-800-NEW-LIFE and the discount code NLL. For over 35 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
Your ministry has saved my life.
If you struggle with emotional hurt, family or marriage problems, the pit of depression, or the pain of addiction, we can help.
I'm down 100 pounds now from what I was.
I found a counselor through New Life Ministries, and it's just been outstanding.
Our treatment programs provide clinically appropriate solutions from licensed professionals, all in a biblical framework.
I have had problems with alcohol. I think God has ordained this place to be His.
You don't have to be a prisoner of your pain. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
She tells me that I'm a new man, and I feel like a new man.
It worked for me, and it can work for them too.
This time it is different.
If you're ready to take the first steps toward genuine spiritual and emotional healing, call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. God can open the door for a better tomorrow.
To get someone that's competent, that's good at what they do, it's been like day and night compared to what I've had before.
Call 1-800-639-5433. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
Let's go back to Lisa. You still with us, Lisa?
Yes.
All right. So we had some questions for you.
A couple
Go ahead,
of clarifications, Lisa. So your sisters, were they, do you guys have the same mother, or were they your stepfather's daughters that he brought to the marriage?
Same mother.
Same mother. Okay, so they're your half-sisters. Okay, yes. So that makes sense okay. And you said they were in your life until your mother passed away. Stepdad passed away first, then mother.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Correct.
So one thing we were wondering, you mentioned your sexual abuse by stepfather. Do your sisters know about that? Was that?
Yes.
Okay, they do.
Yes, they do, and they believe him.
Mm-hmm. That's what I was wondering. Yeah.
They, to be honest with you, I kind of even feel bad and guilty for kind of bringing it up, you know, because they adore their dad. So well, it's a horrible thing to, you grow up with a dad thinking he's this wonderful thing, and then you hear this news. Like, right.
At what point? Right. At what point did you share this? Was it after Dad passed?
No. I came into celebrate recovery about 13 years ago, and that's when I had to start being honest and started stepping out of denial. So all this came about around that time.
Okay.
because once I stepped out of denial, I couldn't be around him.
So while your stepfather was alive?
Yes.
Okay. And
yeah,
did you confront him?
No.
Okay.
No, we never, I just never came around.
Okay.
When he was around.
Mm-hmm.
Did everybody in the family know why, Lisa, though? Like, when you just stopped showing up, but you made a statement to everyone, I'm not coming because of what happened to me. Okay.
Yeah,
so he only knew this through your sisters and your mom? Since you never talked to him about it.
I think through my mom, because I was very clear with her. This is the reason why I'm not coming around, because I can't stand him. I don't want my other kids around him.
Right.
Because I wasn't numbing anymore. So I couldn't pretend.
Yeah.
So I spoke. And I spoke to them too. Mm-hmm.
How did your mom react? Did she believe you?
Well, the first time that it happened, she did not believe me, and that's when I went into drug use and alcohol abuse. That's when my addiction took off.
Yeah.
But then when I started the recovery process, she just sat there and listened, didn't say she agreed with me or not agree with me, kind of like my sisters say to me, because I just spoke to one of them, and she wants to have a relationship but not bring any of this, which I don't want to bring any of this anyway. That's not my intention. But I feel that they don't really want me around because I kind of remind them.
Well, Lisa, I'm just struck with how incredibly alone you have been in your family to have bared this, and then probably became the scapegoat with your drug and alcohol use. So she's the problem child, right? And then them not wanting to see, what triggered all that for you, because it really changes their view of their world. It is so horrific. And I am so sorry that you have had to bear that. And even in wanting to reconnect, they're asking you to continue to bear it alone.
We hear your tears,
Yeah.
Lisa. We're so sorry.
Yeah.
And you did the right thing by
You
speaking your truth and speaking about what happened to you. It's so hard. It's so hard. And I know that you've lost a lot in being truthful. And I'm really sad for that to be your experience.
Right. But that, you got into CR. And here's the thing. For so many people, their safe people are not their family members.
Right.
We have the expectation that our family should be the ones. But often they can't. They can't see past their own issues. And so I want you to look at all the people that you do have around you who do believe you.
Right. And, the other part of that too, Lisa, is that this may be one of your sister's stories. A lot of times when you have come into your truth and been able to speak it, those who keep the secrets because of their inability to confront the wounds of the past, it's a threat to them.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying you did anything wrong. This is just part of how this happens. And so what happens is they are complicit in silence. And it's really frustrating and sad. But I love what you just said, Jill, that, to find the new family, and whether you
that's where you'll get the
them,
containment and the validation. And you can't expect that from your sisters. They can't do it, at least at this point.
That's right. And so if you connect with them, the challenge for you will be to accept them where they are, knowing that it won't feel like you want it to feel. And it's part of that way forward.
Lisa, stay on the line. We're going to send you a resource from the newlife.com store.
We've been married 33 years. We attended the Intimacy and Marriage Workshop. Even though we've read books or attended a few other marriage weekends, this was certainly different and a lot more intensive than initially that we thought.
When you come to Intimacy and Marriage, you're going to be immersed into a 3-day process.
Was not really sure exactly what to expect, but the idea of learning to really understand intimacy was intriguing. We had been in the same patterns of struggle over and over again.
If you've thought, I don't think we can ever change, we're just in this rut and we can't get out, the Intimacy and Marriage Workshop can help you get out of the rut.
The Intimacy and Marriage Weekend is February 13th to the 15th in Orange County, California. Register online at newlife.com or call 1-800-NEW-LIFE and use the code NLL for a discount. 1-800-639-5433.
I would highly recommend it.
I was sort of vaguely familiar that the 12 steps had some origination in the Bible. I found Life Recovery, and one of the things I liked so much was that it had such a broad appeal. It wasn't limited to just alcohol or drugs, that it was addressing a wide range of problems.
At New Life, we believe everyone can benefit from a life recovery experience. There are life recovery groups all over the country. They take place online, in conference calls, and in person. And if there isn't one in your area, we can help you start one. We have startup materials, leaders' guides, CDs, Bibles, and more, all with discounts available for groups. Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE and ask for Terry Ward. The 12 Steps have long been a great help to people in recovery because much of the 12 Steps' power comes from the fact that they capture principles clearly revealed in the Bible.
The 12 Steps is really a pattern for all of us as Christians.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We're going to send our previous caller, Lisa, a copy of the book Healing is a Choice from the newlife.com store. And during this time, the holidays, there's a lot of grief going on, loneliness, anxiety, depression, unresolved relationship issues with difficult people, trauma triggers. If you're experiencing any of these things or a myriad of others, connecting with a Christian counselor can help. We have a nationwide network of Christian counselors we can connect you to, and many offer telehealth. Do you want to be made well? Let your healing begin by calling 1-800-NEW-LIFE today, right now, while it's fresh on your mind. Let's talk to Kay in San Francisco, listening on newlife.com. Hi, Kay.
Hello.
Hello.
Thank you for taking my call.
Yep, you're on with Becky Brown and Dr. Jill Hubbard.
Hi, thank you so much. I've been listening to your program since July of this year.
Oh,
and I actually sent in my radio question yesterday, but I was encouraged to call in.
Well, we're glad you did because we like talking to you in person.
Yeah.
Yes, I just have to put aside my shame. I am nervous, but I think I wrote things down to just help me process my thoughts, and I have to delete a lot of things, but I like to read what I wrote, if that's okay.
Sure.
These are the things that I see in my marriage. How am I to interpret this? What's the next step I need to take in order to confidently move forward with my life? I need biblical wisdom and clarity. I still cannot believe my husband would leave me and move to a different state to pursue quote-unquote business. He says this is what God has in front of him. He says my feelings don't line up with facts. He remained stone-faced when I pleaded with him to stay. He is officially a resident of state and has no intentions to return. I feel abandoned and betrayed. I'm tired of living a quote-unquote waiting room life. There have been empty promises. I am in my 60s. I've been supporting him, believing that things would come to fruition, but for too long. We made financial sacrifices, including selling our home. We continue to be in debt. We haven't had a family vacation for over 15 years. I have been functioning on survival mode. Raising and caring for the family has been my primary mission. I trusted him 100+% in financial decisions. I feel cheated, used, and betrayed. I've been very lonely and have tried to do the right thing. Now that he has left, I feel like a widow. I've been trying my best to stay connected with my friends and church community, but I feel I am no longer able to pretend my life is okay or protect his reputation. Additionally, I was hurt, and there was a breach of trust when I discovered that he had been sharing his beliefs that I have borderline personality disorder with others without my knowledge. I have never been diagnosed as such, and my therapist denies it as well. He states that the priority in our relationship is for me to continue counseling. His narrative is that my characterization of the situation is inaccurate and an exaggeration. For example, that workaholic is not a fair presentation of the situation. I feel he is shifting the narrative. Every argument ends with, we agree to disagree. I need practical advice in order to move forward with courage and clarity. I'm confused, sad, lonely, stuck, fatigued. What do I want? I don't want a divorce. Deep down inside, I want a place where I can call home. I have a longing for security and stability, and yet plans for the future continue to be indefinite. There is profound pain and grief associated with the loss of our home. My situation may never change.
Wow.
Okay, you have stated it clearly. I don't think you're confused. I think you're sad. And I think you're wondering why this happened. And the hardest part about this is accepting who he is, not what he's saying. Because he's telling you that you're confused. He's telling you that this was an agreement that you had with him. And it doesn't sound like you were on board with it at all.
Well, and the plan is that he would move to a different state, but he didn't take you with him to a different state? Like, why did you not go with him?
Okay, so he's been talking about it for a long time, and I was supporting him. But this is where I take responsibility as well. I did not speak up sooner and reach out to other people. And so by the time he said he was moving, I just thought that if I moved to a different state, I would just have a mental breakdown.
Okay.
I'm not a doormat. And then the other thing is there was no solid investors in what he's planning on doing.
So you don't have confidence in this business plan of his?
Right. It's been going on for a long time, yes.
Okay. So it's a little bit pie in the sky. So you didn't want...
It was
okay. But all along, he said he was moving. But, I mean, you're married. There was not the plan that, okay, you would move as a family?
I guess we would move together.
Okay.
I never thought that we would be living separately.
Okay.
Hey, do you have children? Do the two of you have children? And how long have you been married?
Over 30 years. We have adult children.
And where do they live, and what are they saying about this situation?
I have not. I don't want to badmouth my husband, and it's their father. So I really haven't talked to them about it. But kids are intuitive and.
Well, and there's
there's
bad mouthing and there's stating reality, right?
Right.
Yeah, because if he's not living in the state with you, what is the story that they have been told?
It's business, to pursue this business opportunity.
Okay, but Dad says your husband says he's never coming back?
He never said that.
Oh, okay.
It's his actions, yeah.
His actions,
But he sold the home. He sold your home.
Right, that home was let go several years ago, yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay,
I have a question for you, though, before we try to just figure it out. You say you don't want a divorce. What is he saying that he wants from you? He just wants status quo? Like he doesn't want you to question? He doesn't want you to interfere with what he's thinking?
Well, he basically says this is what God has in front of him, and he's providing for the family, providing for me.
Does he send money home?
He does. I feel like, yes, he is supporting me financially.
Okay.
I believe he will continue to do that, but
do you suspect at all that there's adultery going on?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
No.
I think the challenge, Kay, is that you're really stuck, aren't you? Like you can't, it's almost like you can't believe that he did this.
Exactly.
And that has kind of set you back on your heels and you don't even know what way to turn. I'm glad to hear that he's supporting you financially. I don't always love when people say, God told me to do it. And so you just have to get along with it. I wonder, Kay, if you don't want a divorce, but there's got to be a way for you to connect with him, and you have a family. So that's, you're not bad mouthing him to the kids, but there's a story that's going on here that doesn't make sense. You're married, but he lives in another state, and you don't have, not everybody understands what's going on. You say that the adult kids know that it's a business opportunity, but as they observe their mom being left behind, what are they saying about that?
They know that I'm having a difficult time.
Okay.
Would it be ever a consideration of yours, Kay, to go visit him where he is?
Yes. In fact, I did talk to my counselor about that, and we thought that was a good idea. But basically, he made it conditional, and he didn't really want me to come at this time.
Okay.
Well, I might be leaning towards Brian's question.
I know. Yeah, or what, it sounds like he has, he's diagnosing you, like you said, behind your back. So what is his version of the story, and what has he asked of you? And is this his way of setting a really strong boundary with you? Has, and I believe what your therapist is saying, that you're not borderline, but has there been a lot of emotional upheaval in the home? And is he someone that is much less emotional? So any emotionality he's going to see as extreme?
Kay, don't hang up. We'll continue our conversation with you when we come back here on New Life Live.
I'm Dr. John Townsend. Maybe this year you want to lead better in your church, your nonprofit, your workplace. The Townsend Institute at Concordia University, Irvine trains leaders with competence and character and connection through accredited online programs in counseling, leadership, executive coaching, and consulting, from certificates to master's to PhD programs. Our spring 2026 semester begins in February, and the online format helps you learn without pausing your life or your career. Before you apply, join us on Wednesday, January 14th for our online information night, Townsend Institute Live, where you can speak directly with faculty and staff and alumni. You'll see how our programs can fit with your goals, and if you attend, you'll have your application fee waived. Reserve your spot at cui.edu/Townsend. I'd be honored to walk alongside you.
Do you need help for life's hard situations?
My husband recently said he wanted a divorce.
I'm confused on what I should do.
I have an eating disorder.
New Life Live answers your questions on relationships, grief, addiction, trauma, anxiety, and much more, all from a biblical perspective with our panel of professional counselors and psychologists.
I learned a lot from your program. You help so many people.
I appreciate your ministry.
Whether you listen or watch, there are so many ways to connect with us to ask our panel of counselors a question. Call us Monday through Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific at 1-800-229-3000 to ask your question on New Life Live. or go to newlife.com/radio for other ways to get your question answered.
I'm trying to find help.
I just want to know how to set boundaries.
If it's a sin, what am I supposed to do?
Need a therapist or a coach, a resource, or an intensive? Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. 1-800-NEW-LIFE. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
And let's go back to San Francisco. Kay, you still with us?
Yes, I am.
Okay, thanks for holding through the break.
Mm-hmm.
Becky?
It's so hard, Kay, when there's so much confusion. And I don't want to, plant thoughts in your head, but, it is very unusual for a couple who's been married as long as you guys have been married to not have an understanding about, I'm going to move to another state because of a job opportunity. There have been many couples that have done that. We know couples that live, in two separate houses, two separate states because of things like that. That is not far reaching. The hard part is when you say, I'm going to come visit, and he shuts the door down. Like he's like, nope, that's not happening. That makes me question his integrity. I'm not saying that, he has another relationship, but it's just not okay for him to not open the door for you. And so I love that you're with a therapist and that the therapist is, giving you some great support. But I want you to have some clarity on what the next few years of your marriage look like. You don't want a divorce, but let's get some understanding about my husband works in another state, therefore he lives in another state. I go visit from time to time. That is, we hear that a lot, but I just don't want you feeling like he's the only one that gets to make the choices here. And I'm going to suggest that we send you a copy of Dr. Sherry Denham Keffer's book, Intimate Deception. Now, the main focus is on sexual infidelity, but she talks in there a lot about how when we don't have clarity in our relationships, how it makes a difference in the way we approach things. It makes us question, everything from gaslighting, when people are telling you, no, it's not that at all. And, and you've got to make sense of something that doesn't make sense. And we just want you to continue to connect with your therapist along the same lines.
Yeah. I wonder, I like the idea of you going to visit and then also him coming home. Like, is he coming home for Christmas? And how, and do you guys talk regularly every day? Right? I mean, that's what married people do that live far apart. They stay really connected. And so that's part of the evaluation process.
All right, Kay, stay on hold. Thank you so much for calling in today to New Life Live, and we're going to send you a copy of Intimate Deception by our friend Dr. Sherry Denham Keffer. It's available in the newlife.com store. If you follow New Life Ministries on social media, you'll get great encouragement and updates about the ministry. One post I saw the other day on Facebook featured some 2025 New Life statistics. This year alone, 17,378 calls were answered. When I first saw that, I said, we didn't take 17,000 calls on New Life Live. And then I said, at the Resource Center. Yes, at the Resource Center, 1-800-NEW-LIFE. So yes, definitely. 500 men and women were transformed through our intensive workshops. 600 people were reached globally through live stream webinars. 720 life recovery groups are offered, they offered community and accountability. Now imagine if we could double those numbers. We can, can't we, Becky?
Yes, we can. It's amazing when we talk about numbers, each number represents a person that represents a community, whether it's a family or a place of work or a place of worship that's being impacted by their life change. We celebrate how God works in the lives of so many people, and we just want to continue this for the next 40 years. We've been doing it almost 40 years, which is really amazing. But I think more and more, as the world gets a little bit crazier, I think we all can agree on that, we can see where God's truth and godly counsel can make an impact. And we want you to be partner with us as we reach out to more people in 2026.
That's right. And you can do that by going to newlife.com/match. Take advantage of our matching gift campaign, or call 1-800-NEW-LIFE or text the word match to 28950. Over on newlife.com, we have a radio page, and it gives you the information on how you can get your question to us if you can't call us when we're here in the studio. Here's one that was submitted online. It's from Matt, and this might have something to do with a conversation that we had a few days ago when I asked you guys how you started out in counseling. And so Matt says, I'm completing my LPC in Texas this year. I attend grad school at Liberty University and will be pursuing EMDR and IFS as my specialties. I've worked in hospice and level 1 trauma for the last 12 years as a chaplain, so my hope is to continue working in grief as my focus. Someday I would like to own my own practice. What advice, professionally or anything concerning self-care, would you tell your younger self just starting out in the business? Dr. Jill?
Wow. I mean,
and we've only got 3 minutes.
I know. I have to think about that for a minute. I mean, he's done a lot already, which is wonderful. So all of that experience.
Yeah.
I think that it's definitely a profession that you grow into. So not expecting yourself to know everything from day one. Right? And that really you just have to be one step ahead of your clients and in order to lead them. So give himself grace in the growth journey that he's on.
Yeah. Becky?
And I would say do your own work.
Yes.
Continue to learn about what makes you move, think, feel. All of those things will impact your work. I would also encourage you, when you get your license, to join the New Life Network of Counselors and come join us. We would love for you to be part of it. But I think that's the really key thing. As we do this work, we're impacted by the stories that we hear, by the hands that we hold. Like you talked about being a chaplain, and I love chaplain work. But I think so many times people helpers get stuck because they don't do their own work. They keep tucking it down inside of them, and it's a recipe for disaster. It is such a great thing to learn and to know all of these things that you're talking about: EMDR, eye movement desensitization and reprocessing, IFS, internal family systems. All of those things are great tools, but it's really powerful when you can go, how does this impact me? What is my story, and how am I changing and transforming to be the best version that God has created me to be?
And you do, Becky, that's a good point, because you really have to be clear so that your stuff stays separate from the client's stuff, right? We don't want to be putting any of our stuff on our clients.
Right. And you're not ever perfect. Like this is, as a people helper, we don't, if you have somebody that presents as perfect, that might be diagnosable.
Yeah.
But you want to be truthful and honest and a person of integrity. And so that's what, when you're doing your own work, that is where the impact can be felt the most. And if you're a believer, and I think that, if you're a chaplain, you are, continue to grow in your spiritual journey as well, because I cannot say enough about the power of Christian counseling. That's what we do here. And I don't know about you, Joe, but I can't imagine doing what we do without Jesus right in the middle. And we've served lots of people who don't share our faith, but it's what we bring into the room.
I'm glad you brought that up too, because people might wonder, what if I find a therapist or a counselor and they don't have it all together? Should I go find a different one? But you're being open, Becky, that you're doing your own work. And how does that look like for you guys, doing your own work?
Well, it depends on how much work they have.
Got a little echo there. Well, I think it means that if you're asking your clients to do something, right, to sit and be with you, you need to have done that. I mean, most programs, at least when I was in school, required so much. But I would say even go beyond that. I have heard of some programs that don't require it, and I'm thinking you cannot sit in your chair and never have sat on the couch. You need to sit on the couch. You need to know what it feels like to be vulnerable. It also helps you understand what is helpful and what isn't helpful. in being with someone.
Matt, thank you so much for submitting your question online at newlife.com/radio. And that's all the time we have on today's episode of newlife.com, or New Life Live, I should say. We'll talk to you on Monday, and we'll see you at church this Sunday. God bless you guys. Thanks for listening and watching.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433 or online at newlife.com. Please join us again on Monday for New Life Live.